Welcome to Nerd Hurdles,
Hello, welcome
the podcast
to Nerd Hurdles
that helps you overcome your geek prejudices.
with Snark.
My name is Jacob.
My name is Mandi.
So, it's been another stretch of time since we've done an episode
A few weeks.
wherein we have not watched Rogue One.
We have not watched Rogue One.
So, we're not going to do a nice topical, spoiler-heavy Rogue One episode.
We've also not watched Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
We have not watched that either, despite there being a giant mural at my subway station that I see every day.
I want to see it so badly.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
We could try harder to see these movies.
But I don't think this is the problem. Here's the problem.
We have a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was, I think, some like Stars and Strollers, which is where you can take your baby with you to the movies, showings of beasts.
Yeah. I thought it was Doctor Strange.
Oh, there's a bunch of different movies. Like,
Yeah.
I assume there's been some. I don't know. I didn't actually ever see it.
We also have not seen Doctor Strange.
No, we haven't seen that
That was
either.
kind of a given.
But I feel like you would want to see that movie with me. And the Stars and Strollers
Yeah.
showings are like Wednesdays at 2:30 or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it's more something where your mom would have to watch the baby while we went to a movie.
I'm
for
not
2
there
hours.
yet.
It's only a couple hours.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah. You've left your... I guess you haven't.
Not for that long.
Not that long. Yeah. More like half an hour or something was... Yeah, about the length. Yeah.
I think when I went to my bank meeting, I left the baby with my mom for like an hour.
Yeah.
It's really crazy to think that I haven't been apart from this thing for longer than that. And oh no, the longest I've been away was when I went to have my breast abscess drained.
Right. Yes. And I guess that was the longest time that I've been alone with the baby.
Yeah.
I guess I don't count as like leave alone babysitter though.
No, that's true.
If you'd said yes, I would have been offended.
If I said yes, you do count as a babysitter.
Yeah. And then it's nerve wracking and you're not quite there yet.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it may be that I'm not there yet. I mean, no. Not that I wouldn't be opposed to leaving you and the baby alone together. It's just that I wouldn't want to be away from the baby.
No.
It doesn't have anything to do with like the quality of who the baby's with.
Yeah.
It's true though. I was thinking that I should give you more alone with the baby time.
I think just for you. I don't need it spiritually.
Oh,
personally.
well then.
But
I won't worry about it.
But I feel like, if you need more
Me time?
autonomy time where you're doing something other than looking after the baby or, being in the room with the baby while the baby's unconscious, sleeping, not
Smothered.
not smothered, but like then you could utilize me for that.
Yeah.
It would be fair.
I'd say generally, though, I'm not bothered by the existence of this tiny human.
You seem very happy to be attached at the hip to the baby.
I like taking the baby places.
Yeah.
Although I will say the thing that I found the most frustrating about parenthood, breastfeeding aside, is as a pre-parent, very fond of like efficiency.
Right.
And
yeah.
like, oh, well, if I'm going to go pick Jacob up, I'll just stop and, get this on the way or do this on the way or
Right, yeah.
or like coming back from somewhere and be like, oh, I'll just stop and do this. But like you can't, like, lots of times the baby needs to like get home and eat a thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I was coming back from a meeting or something and I was like, oh, I have about an hour to kill. I could go get some winter boots or something.
Right.
And then I'm like, I can't though, because the baby needs to eat.
Yeah.
So I gotta go home, feed the baby, and then go get you.
Yeah.
And can't just lark around.
There's definitely that. And
The only thing that bugs me about that, though, is the inefficiency of it. I'm not like, oh, why can't I go buy my winter boots?
Right. Yeah. And yeah, my sort of take on that is, or version of that is, we spend a lot of time now. We do like Netflix and Quill.
Yeah, Netflix and Quill.
Quill's the name of the baby that we refer to. In case listeners have missed the episode,
Have
we
you
might
been
have
thinking
mentioned
about that for a while? Netflix and Quill, or did you just think of it now?
Just now.
Damn, girl.
That is like some quick thinking podcasting wit.
Netflix
right there.
and Quill.
It's like a feeding cycle like say starting around 4 o'clock when I get home from work.
Yeah. Usually that's time for baby to eat.
Yeah, baby eats, and we watch some. Well, mostly these days, Gilmore Girls. We're catching up in the final season of Gilmore Girls, so we can watch the final season, whatever it's called. I guess it's a season.
It's called like A Year in the Life or something.
A Year in the Life.
It's 4 episodes.
Is it 4 or is it 6?
I don't know. I thought it was 1 for each season.
Well, that would make sense. More than 6 episodes. But I thought it was more than 4. But maybe
I have no idea.
Maybe
That's
they're
the
long.
only reason
Maybe
I
they're
think
like
it's
long
4.
episodes. Maybe.
Well, and I've just seen people referring to them as like, I watched fall today. I watched winter.
Blech. Yuck. But I don't know why that made me want to barf.
The tone of voice I said it in.
Yeah, I guess I was picturing them. I watched fall today with my pumpkin spice latte. In my
Wow,
hand.
you're turning into one of those PSL haters.
Well, I just don't like pumpkin spice flavor, and I can't believe that anyone else on the planet actually likes it, and they're all just succumb to a marketing.
No, I like it for
scheme.
real.
Yeah, you do. You do like pumpkin pies,
I like that oatmeal breakfast that
right?
Rachel eats.
Right. Oatmeal with pumpkin pie filling in it.
No,
right.
that would not be a healthy breakfast treat. Well, it's oatmeal with pumpkin in it.
Right.
And
some nutmeg or something.
Yeah, I put in the spices, cinnamon and nutmeg.
Right.
And it's pumpkin spice oatmeal.
I would be more likely to have like Fruit Loops with lemon pie filling.
Oh.
Or maybe Rice Krispies, actually. Rice Krispies and like cherry pie filling.
Ew.
Maybe.
I don't like cherry pie filling.
I like it if it doesn't have any weird, dried out, desiccated bits of supposed cherries in it. Like if it is just the red goop.
The red goop is acceptable to me.
Yeah.
Hey, what about a pie? Or, a pie made with that bright red orange sweet and sour sauce from Chinese food stores.
I think it would be really fun to give that to somebody and not really tell them what if it was a pie? It looks like a cherry pie, but it's actually sweet and sour pork balls or chicken balls in that red sauce. So it looks like you cut it open and there's like these.
I would rather eat that than a cherry pie.
Yeah, I'm not big on cherry pie unless it's like a really shitty cherry pie that is basically
cherry pie.
Like a really shitty cherry pie where it is mostly just goop and pie crust, and it's kind of a congealed goop, and there's none of the gross hard.
I hate those
chunky
cherries.
Cherry
They're
things.
slimy.
Yeah, slimy
and like the texture of them is like grainy almost.
Well, it's like eyeball. It's like what you'd think of like
No, you can't say it's like eyeball in this way where it's like you're an eyeball eater aficionado.
I've touched an eyeball. I've cut one open before.
Yeah,
Well,
that's why you got the eye patch.
In biology class.
I know.
Yeah.
Have you ever cut a lens?
No, I don't.
I was at Science North, and
I don't think.
my friend's friend worked there, and so they're like, "Do you want to do the eyeball cutting up thing?" Like it was, one of those. It would be like a scheduled demonstration, but they're like, "Want to just cut up an eyeball?" So I was like, "Okay." So I tried to cut the lens, and it broke the scalpel.
Yeah.
Real hard, them lenses.
They are. I was gonna say I don't think you can.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I wrecked Science North. I also
or at least one scalpel.
I pet the beaver there too.
Mm.
There's a beaver.
Was a beaver,
I've
not a
heard
euphemism.
this story before. Both of these stories.
Yeah.
They've probably been on the podcast.
No, actually,
before.
no. The petting the beaver. I don't think it's been on the podcast, but I had not heard the eyeball lens story.
Oh wow, 8 years in, and I can still surprise you.
My mind is blown.
The novelty is not gone.
The veil is lifted now. Yeah, so we've been watching a lot of Netflix, feeding the baby in the sort of this endless cycle where now we went from like being people that don't really watch TV. We'd like watch one episode of something while we ate dinner, and that was like all the TV we did really, other than like hungover morning binge watching of something. But
we don't do that anymore.
But now we watch like 3 to 4 hours of TV a night with sort of this baby feeding, taken care of cycle, and then us feeding us, and then then it's time for the baby to eat again, and then so we just end up watching a lot of TV. So during that, we watched 2 seasons of Orphan Black.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess could be sort of the semi-focus of this episode.
Well, and also that thing we just watched.
Yeah, that thing we just watched, and the other thing we just watched, which is For the Love of Spock.
Yeah.
And we finally got around, because they just this morning, I think, showed up on Canadian Netflix, Captain America Civil War.
So, hey, so what did you used to call the Nerd Hurdles episodes where we talked about what we watched on Netflix?
And Netflix Follies.
So now it can be Netflix and Quill.
Yeah. Only Quill will not actually offer any opinions on the shows.
That's why it's funny.
Yeah.
The baby's here.
The baby is here. Sleeping like a good podcasting baby. Yeah, so Orphan Black, it was actually, we watched it on video discs from the library.
Video discs. Digital video discs?
Digital video discs.
Oh, go fig.
So I think we had slightly differing opinions on it. I really loved the first season.
I liked the first season.
I just loved like how original, not so much like the concept of like clones, just how every episode wasn't like how a TV episode usually is structured. It was really original in the way it was telling the story and introducing the characters and the situations they were in and how it sort of moved the story along. Season 2 just turns into like a standard American TV show, and it's pretty. I found season 2 not very engaging.
I think I'm less bothered by formulaic stuff than you are, so I think I'd be less like impressed by something that's being different.
Yeah.
But what I will say I appreciated about it is most shows where they're like clones, where they have like one actor or actress playing the same or playing a bunch of different characters.
Yeah.
Usually when they're both on the same scene,
right,
they make too much of it.
Like, say, Brent Spiner, when he is Lore and Soon and Data in one scene together.
They're just like, look.
But that's kind of how he acts.
Well, yes.
He's more
in
restrained
Star
when,
Trek's defense.
Yeah, when he's just Data, he's fairly restrained. But when he was Lore and Soon, he really like kicks the blocks out and I'm going to be crazy actor.
Yes. Yeah. But I just felt like it was just so natural all the time that like, you know, very rarely was I like, oh my God, it's just one person.
There's definitely times when where you kind of actually believe Allison and or at least Allison and Cosima are like different actresses. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not the same person. Sarah sort of is intentionally kind of the middle ground between all the characters in a way. So it's a little bit like, oh yeah, Sarah and Cosima is the same actress, Allison and Sarah is the same actress, you know, but then other characters, it's like, wow, that's a really vibrantly different performance.
Even the way, like, I think Cosima smiles in a different way than any of the other clones.
She does, and Helena juts her jaw out forward.
Yeah.
So she does like these physical acting things with with her, just even her face, but the whole body with each of the characters that changes her physical appearance, like especially the way she holds her jaw differently for every character. And that's really fantastic acting, you know. That's a real skill, you know, that I think is not something that, say, Brent Spiner did with the Data clones. It was just sort of, one was serious, one is goofy. Data doesn't understand contractions and humor, and Lore does kind of, and is a bit of a dick.
Yeah.
but he
also didn't need to, like to have so many different clones and so many, and they're not just like one-offs. They're like characters in the show.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're actual characters.
Yeah.
This is what I wonder, though. Does Orphan Black pass the Bechdel test? Because it's just the one woman.
No, I think characters count. They are. Yeah, I think. Because I guess they don't even know about the existence of Dr. Leakey at the beginning, really. So he isn't even brought up. So there is not really any
for
man.
Sure passes.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
it has to.
Also not.
Yeah. So
no,
Dr.
but
Leakey,
like S and Sarah talk about stuff.
Yeah,
too.
That's true.
And Kira and Sarah and whatever.
Delphine.
Which one's Delphine?
Delphine is the French minder. Monitor. Yeah.
I'd like to apologize. I guess you're going to edit it out, but I'd like to apologize to the listeners for my incessant yawning.
I'll even your
my last yawn
apology in case there's any yawns. I can't edit it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's because lack of sleep, baby times.
Yeah.
That's not the real excuse, though. The real reason is my 5 a.m. flight.
Yeah.
Because what you don't think about with a 5 a.m. flight, you think, oh yeah, 5 in the morning. I can get up at 5 in the morning. That's not what time you have to get up to get on a 5 a.m. flight.
No.
Especially not if you have to feed a baby before, too.
So
2:30.
2:30.
That's the time I set my alarm for.
Why did you book a 5 a.m. flight again?
Ugh, it's Lee's fault.
Oh.
It's because she was flying on Aeroplan points, and it was like the least shitty of all the itinerary options that were given to her.
Right.
And then I wanted to fly back with her.
Yeah.
So in as much as it was shitty, it was still worth it to not
yeah.
fly on my own, even though I flew there on my own and it was okay.
Yeah.
But there was a bad moment where I was trying to like manhandle the stroller into the stroller bag for when it goes in the plane. And I was trying to keep Quill was in a carrier on my chest, and I was trying to keep the baby in there and then lean over and do the thing with the stroller. And at one point, Quill's head like popped out of the carrier and was all like, like all dangling. And Quill's trying to like keep a strong neck. But it was like, and then I was like, can someone please help me? No, someone, actually, that's not even true. As if I can't even imagine myself saying that like that.
No.
Then someone came and helped me. The lady at the counter told this other girl to help me.
Right.
Workers. But the number of people who just stood there watching me struggle with this is unbelievable. Like, just fucking stood there. Yeah. I think people are overcome by this, like, I need to get on a plane.
Yeah.
Like, tunnel vision.
I certainly get that.
But, like, get a clue. You're not getting on the plane until I get on the plane.
Yeah.
I'm part of people with small children.
Yeah.
You have to wait for me. That's what's going to happen. It's what did happen.
Yeah.
Bitches. The other thing that's weird is when you get on a plane first, you realize how many people are actually on that plane. Like, people are just getting on forever.
Yeah.
Even on a small plane.
Getting on first is kind of the worst.
I was always like, I will just wait till the last second to get on a plane. Except for then when they started charging for extra bags or to check a bag. It's really hard to find a spot to put your carry-on now because everyone does it.
Yeah.
And so I checked a bag this time, which I resent because you have to wait forever for it to come.
Yeah.
But because no one brings checked bags anymore, the bags are there in like 5 minutes.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's
it's worth like the $25 to not have to struggle with your fucking carry-on because the waiting is gone.
Especially when you have a baby.
Oh, God, yeah. Especially, too, because I brought a giant suitcase because of that. I used most of the stuff in it, too. So, sorry. All we do is talk about babies.
Maybe I'll put this in the Easter egg section.
So, Cassima is her or Delphine is the monitor.
Yeah, I'm sure they have Bechdel passing conversations like...
for sure. Inarguably.
Although they are more likely to just be talking about, in some form or other, Dr. Leakey.
No, you can't say that everything that they could be talking about is Dr. Leakey. Like, if they're just talking about the science.
Yeah.
They're not talking about Dr. Leakey.
That's true.
Dr. Take-a-Leakey, who's
also
played by your boyfriend.
Max Headroom.
Yep.
And Star Trek guy.
Yeah.
He played that time traveler.
The lying time traveler.
The lying time... Is there any other kind of time traveler in a Star Trek show? No.
Wasn't he, like, not really a time traveler? That was the thing?
He wasn't from the future. He was from the past. And he wanted to steal...
Oh, right.
art, like, technology and then patent it back in, the 1990s or wherever he was from.
And he had stolen the time ship?
Stolen or stumbled across it or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
Found it. He somehow acquired it.
And then they took it away from him.
Yeah.
Or it got sent back on a timer and he didn't get to go with it or something.
Something like that, yeah.
Matt Frewer?
Matt Frewer. Canadian Matt Frewer.
Oh, he's Canadian.
Yeah.
Look at that, would ya?
Yeah. Another thing I liked about season 1, and they seemed to sort of stray from it in season 2, was it was just sort of Toronto. Yeah. Without saying it was Toronto, like they all the neighborhoods are referred to by the Toronto neighborhoods they're in. They leave landmarks more or less in place.
They made the GO train blue instead of green, but
which was weird because
but that's probably just because it's like an
ugly green.
Well, but they probably didn't get permission.
Oh, maybe.
Like it's a corporation.
That's true.
It's a government corporation.
It's like a branding thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's why they did that. But then in season 2, it's like it's kind of set in Michigan or something like that. And it's sort of
Really?
like, yeah, they're sort of like they're it's about as subtle and not really naming where it is, but it's every once in a while they mention something and it's like supposed to be set in Michigan. Because university was always supposed to be Michigan. But then the rest of it seems to be also set in the States, kind of like it's American law enforcement kind of structures.
Michigan, I thought it was in Minnesota.
Or Minnesota, yeah. Was it Minnesota or Michigan? I think it was Michigan. Maybe it was Minnesota.
Minneapolis?
Minneapolis, maybe. That sounds...
Is in Minnesota.
Yeah, maybe it was Minneapolis. It was where...
Because I remember feeling like, oh, near Thunder Bay.
Like the whole police structure and everything, whenever it's brought up in season 2, it's all like the American police structure suddenly.
Oh.
You know, and stuff like
How
that.
do you notice stuff like that?
Because it was irritating me. Also, I was paying attention to the show and you were like playing on your phone most of the time.
I like that you say that as though I'm some monster that would play on their phone during a show.
Well, which I do through Gilmore Girls, pretty much solid.
You also did it through... What were we watching? And I was like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And you were like, what? I don't know.
Oh, that was the horrible For the Love of Spock documentary.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. It had some good moments, though.
Well, there was like little bits from other documentaries that were good.
I think what I liked about it is that I liked the train wreck that was Adam Nimoy's documentary.
About himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, trying to make it about his dad. It was just bad. It started off really bad. Like in the beginning, I was like, "Oh my god, this is like a PowerPoint presentation." And somebody shows at a funeral, and they're really proud of it. And everybody who's watching it loves the dead person, so they're tolerating it. And then it got better. But it was also because they were like bringing in like clips from all these other Star Trek documentaries that other people made. All those interviews were from other, except the ones that Adam Nimoy was actually a part of,
where he has himself
lit, and he's interviewing Zach Quinto and then talking about his drug problems and the estrangement from his dad, and Zach Quinto is just looking really uncomfortable, like he doesn't know what to say.
But it's because his dad is dead and he needs it's his Spock confessional.
Yeah,
Zachary Quinto owes him at least that.
I'm your character's creator's son, so you're
bound to me.
Yeah, there was no story there between this estrangement between Leonard and Adam, so it was just sort of like he was really trying to make it.
Yeah, there wasn't. They never said why.
It just sounded like Adam was bitter and was smoking a bit of pot, and Leonard didn't like that. Or it didn't even sound like Leonard actually had a problem with that. Adam just kept saying it like that was the case.
Right.
Like, I was still doing the drugs because I was a Grateful Dead fan.
The best part, though, is at the end when he seems to have taken his little homemade collage and glued it onto one of the wood sculptures at Burning Man.
As if like everybody at Burning Man had created this collage, but he probably just came.
For sure, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Because that structure had nothing to do with anything.
I felt like it was a big Spock here, but
there's no way. There's just no way.
Yeah.
Because if it had been, then he would have for sure interviewed the person who created it, and it would have been more of a thing than just look at these little papers burning on my dad.
And this picture of me burning on the Burning Man sculpture.
Like, of course, Adam Nimoy goes to Burning Man.
Yeah.
He's a pretty cute lesbian when he was younger, though. Yeah,
he did look like a cute lesbian when he was 14 or whatever in those photos.
Yeah.
The train wreckiness as it went on and on. We went from bad PowerPoint memorial to just like a weird... Like, all Star Trek documentaries are kind of shitty in that same way, but this was a little bit extra. The biggest problem with it was just kind of boring.
Well, yeah. I think it's funny that in his mind he's created this documentary about this beloved character that his father portrayed. But really it's not. Like the description on Netflix even says like a documentary about a son's love for his father or blah, 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 or something. Like everyone else understands what that really is, except for Adam Nimoy.
Wasn't as big of a train wreck, though, as Captain America Civil War, though.
Oh, my God.
I don't know. Like, a lot of people had said, oh, yeah, it's not bad. It's fine. And I was like, oh, maybe we should have gone and seen it when it was in the theaters. It looked really terrible. But people keep saying it was pretty good. Not bad at all. And
see, this is the thing that I think is crazy. Okay, you can make your point.
It was just spectacularly bad shit, terrible. It was unabashedly fucking
bad.
awful. It was a fucking awful movie.
It was. So, like, I can keep track of all the different characters played by the same person
Yeah.
in Orphan Black.
Yeah.
No problem.
No problem.
I can tell who they are
Yeah.
very easily.
Yeah.
The people in this movie all wear, like, special costumes, and I still can't tell who any of them are.
Well, they don't have distinct personalities at all.
Or storylines. Or motivations.
Yeah.
Or any kind of, like, relevancy whatsoever, rather than just, like, let's see how many... It's like, okay, it's like this. You know when you buy a sleeping bag and it's rolled up in that other little bag?
Yeah.
Like, I remember the first time I got a sleeping bag that came with a bag like that.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm never going to be able to get it back in this bag.
No.
But because you think that what you need to do with a sleeping bag to get it back in is to roll it up really, really carefully and slide it into the bag.
Yeah.
But you can't do it. It's just not possible.
No.
You'd need a bigger bag.
Right.
Unless you stuff it in.
Right.
Then you can get it all in.
Right.
But it's not nice.
No.
It's not good.
No.
It's just a sleeping bag stuffed into a bag.
And that's what all these characters in this movie were. Is that
Yes.
what you're saying? Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And it's all like twisted in itself and folded funny, and and then pull it out again, it's all creased.
Creases that will never go away.
And some of the stuffing is like being pulled out of parts of the sleeping bag where it's
Whereas Orphan Black,
yeah.
they just got a slightly larger bag.
Yeah.
Rolled it up, fits in nice.
Yeah.
Hashtag metaphor.
I don't even the Civil War, I don't understand why that movie happened. I understand why the movie happened. They wanted to make some money, so they made another of this franchise. But
they wanted to
why the story happened?
Because they just wanted to have them fight each other.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
they should have wore pennies.
Like, this is Team Captain, and this is Team
America,
and this is Team Iron Man.
Yeah,
yeah.
That would have helped me.
Well, that would have helped to know who was on whose side.
I couldn't remember what Team Angry Kitty was on.
And the fact that they never gave his name. Like, I mean, I guess you knew he was Prince What's-His-Face from the UN if you were paying enough attention to that scene to catch his name. But they were never like, I am Black Panther, or hey, that's Black Panther. They're just like, who's this? Who's this?
Angry Kitty.
Who's Cat Wolverine that is suddenly in this scene, and why? And I think I missed the 2 seconds of dialogue where it was like, Bucky did this. I don't know why they all thought Bucky did it. I didn't know why. Part of the problem was where it was also like the way the film audio was mastered. It was so the explosions would be super loud. Mm-hmm. They had the dialogue fairly quiet. It was like the theatrical mixing.
Yeah.
So Netflix on my laptop, even my computer cranked to the top, the dialogue was all super quiet. So we were like listening really hard, and then kind of just not listening.
We just gave up.
Yeah, just sort of like if they're having, because in superhero movies, all expository dialogue is done in harsh whispers because it's serious.
Yeah.
So now we're talking like this, even though we're 8 feet apart.
Mm-hmm.
I think we missed the like, oh, Bucky did this, and that's why the Black Panther is gonna try to kill Bucky to avenge his dad, and Captain America's got to save Bucky, and it's sort of like, how does Captain America know how to find Bucky? Like, this is what I hate about all these Avengers movies now, is that if we see it in the theater, it's been a year since the previous one, and if we wait for it to come on Netflix, it's like 2 years or something like that, or 18 months, but they're plotting them now as if it's a weekly television show.
Yeah.
I have no, like, I'm like, oh yeah, there was that town, Segovia, or whatever they called it, that they destroyed. I'm like, why did that place get blown up? What was happening? I know that's the one where Scarlet Witch shows up. That's all I remember from that movie at all.
It also confuses me that it's Scarlet Witch, but then Black Widow is played by Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah,
that's confusing.
Would have been much easier if Scarlett Johansson had played Scarlet Witch.
Or if they did Black Witch and Scarlet Widow.
Yeah, they could have just done that.
There's no spider called Scarlet Widow, though.
Well, they did manage to fit in Spider-Man into the movie.
Oh, Black Widow and Spider-Man should get together.
He's only like a little child, though, in this movie.
December. No one minded when Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford got together.
Yeah. The news that they'd hooked up on the set of Empire, or whichever one it was a while ago, but when that came out, I somehow missed the detail that she was 19 and he was 33, which is like pretty gingy.
Pretty gingy, because we were noticing the ginge factor because of our own age difference, because when I was in grade 7, you were...
I was graduating grade 12.
From high school. When I was 10.
But when you were 19...
You were 16.
I would not have been 33.
No, that's true. You would have been...
20,
25?
Yeah. Which would be...
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right.
That's fine.
That's fine. Also...
Any age 18 and 24, I guess, is okay, but 17 and 23 is gross.
Yeah. Well, I think the person has to be, like, the young person has to be at least 18, 19, 20, preferably, probably.
There's a mathematical formula for this. It's like half your age plus 1 or something. I don't remember what it is.
Right.
But like, it works with as you age, like if it's creepy or not.
Yeah.
It's not half your age plus
But
1.
Also, regardless, even if Harrison Ford had only been that, it's also creepy because according to Carrie Fisher, she was like hammered drunk, and this was like after George Lucas's birthday party.
Ew.
And so basically it was like pretty rapey situation.
Okay, the dating equation
is
half your age plus 7.
That's better than half your age plus 1.
Well, I knew it wasn't that.
Yeah.
So according to this rule, it would be not creepy for a 30-year-old to date a 22-year-old, but an 18-year-old would be off limits.
Yeah. So 33 and 19 is, let's see, 33, that would be 16 and a half plus 7. Well, yeah, I guess at that. No, wait a minute. Yeah, she would have to be in her 20s somewhere.
Wait, half your age. So it's half his age plus 7.
Yeah. 16 and a half plus 7 is 23 and a half, something like that. Yeah, right. So she was well below
that threshold.
That threshold, plus she was apparently hammered drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
But we were all right. When we met, you were 36? And I was 30.
No, I was 35, I think. Maybe.
Oh, yeah, you were almost 36.
Yeah, because I had my 36th birthday.
And I just turned 30.
Yeah. And we didn't drink our first kiss.
That's true.
We could have had a first kiss after the brewery tour.
Yeah.
But nope, we'd been drinking.
We'd been drinking. Not that we ever discussed that.
You told me about it later.
Yeah.
I didn't want her first kiss to be in front of the
subway station.
Subway station, anyways.
Where's your sense of romance?
It wasn't pouring rain. If it was pouring rain and there was like a wind machine and some like strobe lighting or something like that, then totally. Not strobe light, but maybe like a flashing...
Flash of lightning?
No, like a flashing...
neon sign that's a bit broken?
Yeah. So, the other thing we've been watching a lot of, as we mentioned earlier in the episode, was Gilmore Girls.
Yep.
Now, here's a question I have.
Okay.
Is if you think that Mitchum or Logan was originally, they based the character on Donald Trump.
What? That's not a question.
No, if you think.
Oh, if I think.
If you think one of them.
Well, probably.
Yeah.
Don't they mention something in the Gilmore Girls at some point about Trump being president? I mean, not that that's directly related to your question, but I'm just saying Trump was on their radar.
Yeah.
So, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how you could write
rich douchebag.
A sleazy businessman and not have it be informed by Donald Trump.
That's true. Maybe I was just also thinking dude's hair.
Mitch.
Yeah. Is that Corbin Bernstein? Is that who the actor is?
I don't know.
His hair is kind of...
Trumpy.
Trumpy, yeah. But he's also kind of a bit more like Rupert Murdoch, because he's supposed to be this shitbag...
Scrupulous? Unscrupulous?
He's shitbag unscrupulous newspaper magnate, and that's like Rupert Murdoch in a nutshell, of course. And they mention Rupert Murdoch every once in a while in fairly glowing terms. I feel like, which I think I don't know if that's just like because they didn't really disparage Trump either when they talk about him. This was at a time when these capitalist sociopaths were still sort of seen as, I don't know, just sort of like affable jokes. It would also depend on who in the
show is talking about them. I mean, Donald Trump not so much, because I think Donald Trump was always just a punchline.
Yeah.
Which is why no one thought he would win. Well, not no one, but
people assumed it wouldn't.
Which is how he managed to win.
Yeah.
Because some people are like, a punchline will ever win, and other people are like, who doesn't love a punchline?
Yeah, that's true. I guess it was like 10 years ago that this season is taking place, season 7.
Yeah.
People talk about, also, this is actually something I found interesting, is people talk about the last season of Gilmore Girls being the worst one, whereas I feel like the 6th season was just abysmal.
The one where we got halfway through and we just couldn't make ourselves do it anymore?
Yeah, and then that's when we came back in, and like, I'm finding season 7 fine.
Yeah,
I guess
me too.
people, she doesn't end up with Luke at the end of season 7, and that's what pisses people off.
Well, it's not over yet.
Well, that's why they...
Shh. No spoilers. I haven't watched season 7.
But that's why they...
I did...
You know
Just
that is
stop
why
it.
a year in the
Just
whatchamacallit
stop it.
even exists.
Why can't you just stop talking?
At any But yeah, no, like season 6 is where they had just become the horrible people doing horrible things to each other, making everybody just exist to make everybody miserable. And then you're like, wait a minute, that's what the other 5 seasons were too. Except maybe the first season, where it was all like kind of light and bubbly, and only Emily was kind of the evil witch character making Lorelai miserable. But as it goes on...
Well, also, I find as an adult watching it, I realize how awful everyone is. Like, when I was young, I thought that these were just acceptable ways for people to behave.
It was acceptable for adults to act like 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's essentially, it seems like how all the central adult characters act like teenagers, like adolescents. They don't act like adults at all. I feel like in the earlier seasons, it was only Lorelai, and that was kind of the point. It was like the adult daughter and the childish mom dynamic, and kind of a classic thing. But then every character has this, like, they don't deal with problems in any kind of adult way. And it's sort of like, can every single character have a stunted adolescent take on life? You know, like, it's like a natural, realistic thing for some characters to be stunted adolescents, but everybody, like every single character that any of them, encounter, they have tantrums and just
write people off, make unilateral decisions about what the best way to deal with something is, and don't tell anybody else.
Yeah, which is gets super irritating. Just that is the plot point that just keeps getting nailed over and over again. Is oh yeah, well, I'll just won't tell people about this thing that's going on in my life. Like when Luke doesn't tell Lorelai about April, it's almost like bizarrely out of character.
Yeah. For sure he would tell her, because always, all the way through the show, she was the person that he would tell stuff to work through it. And
it wasn't set up that there was some reason why he was like, oh, I can't tell her because of this thing. Like
if she'd said that, he said, I'd like to have more kids, and she was like, I don't want any more kids in my life or something.
Yeah, or she was... some sort of thing where she was like glad that he didn't have a child already, and it was like a really big deal to her or something.
And like gave this whole speech about how it's so wonderful to her that he loves Rory so much, because she doesn't feel like she'd be able to do that if the situation was reversed.
Yeah, something like that. Then it would be like, okay, now I can see Luke not telling her. But instead it was just sort of like, why is Luke doing this? Like, besides the fact that even though his character is kind of a dumb everyman guy, he's also
a dumb everyman kangaroo punching guy.
he's also like shown himself to be emotionally intelligent enough, or like to know Lorelai enough to know what's going to be a deal breaker. Yeah, it was just like the writing is just so driven by melodramatic plot points. And I guess the other thing that I feel like doesn't get addressed as the series goes on is what mental illness Lorelai must have in the DSM-5 or whatever it's called.
Borderline.
Yeah.
That's the one that you have when you don't have anything else.
Yeah. But yeah, because she sort of acts like she's bipolar, but without too much of the depressive swing. Whatever that just destructively manic personality disorder would be.
Yeah.
Narcissism. Deep-seated narcissism. Which makes her like sort of an unsympathetic character. Not that, it's sort of like, mental illness is no reason to dislike somebody, but just
Well,
as a
it's
character.
because it's not. It's because it's not mental illness. It's a poorly written character.
Yeah.
Where her actions are not connected to any sort of motivation that's apparent in the show. So
Or
it's
it's-
unsympathetic because of that, not because
Well, I think-
we have no feelings for people with mental health issues.
Well, that's what I think. I think, or it's a really well-written character that has a mental health issue and would be sympathetic if that was ever pointed out or addressed, or, because she's just like a wrecking ball,
Yeah.
willy-nilly swinging around the town, smashing buildings down, and nobody seems to notice and be like, oh, hey, this wrecking ball is really doing a lot of damage. We're just, but isn't it great? I love that wrecking ball. That wrecking ball's the star of the town.
I feel like towns are like that, though. Well, no, I have no idea.
I don't know.
Stars Hollow's just like that, Jacob.
Well, I guess when you have, like, Kirk and...
A bunch of other wrecking balls.
Yeah, to distract you.
How many more episodes do we have?
Can't be too many. I think we're on 16 or something like that, so it's probably 23 episode season or something like that.
That's one thing I like about stuff on Netflix. All those episodes or series from the days of yore of 20 episode seasons.
Yeah. You mean like instead of 8 episode seasons?
Yeah.
Yeah. Although it does make it like when we get a season of Game of Thrones from the library, it makes it manageable to watch it in the 10-day, 2-week time period we have it for.
Well, they recently extended how long you have them.
Yeah, it used to be 10 days, now it's 14. Is that what it is?
I think it was a week and now it's 2.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be all movies had the same thing.
Right.
And it used to be that they did discs of seasons separately.
Oh, yeah, they did do that, yeah.
And then they put them all together now, but they didn't change the amount of time.
Right. So you could get like something that was 23 episodes or 28 episodes and be like, I guess I'm calling in sick this week.
Yeah, I finally got it from the library.
Yeah.
Or you'd sign up for shows and you'd get discs out of order, so you'd have to just try to manage your holds really carefully. I think what you can do is put stuff on hold and then sort of pause it.
You can.
So you move up the list.
Yeah.
But you don't get it until you unpause it.
Yeah. We're almost at the end of Enterprise as well.
Yeah.
And then that'll be like, well, I guess we're just not going to finish watching DS9.
Yes, we have to. We have to.
All right.
Do you want to know something?
Is this a spoiler?
No.
Okay, what?
Deep Space Nine is TBJ's favorite Star Trek series.
It's not surprising.
Oh, why?
He looks like a Deep Space Nine fan. He likes sports.
He does like sports.
I feel like those are things that go hand in hand. Like, Cisco likes baseball. TBJ likes baseball.
He likes the comings and goings.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. And the religious aspects.
The comings
And the
and
political intrigue.
Oh, the political intrigue is shitty in that show.
Well, it's a charitable show.
Yeah.
And the character development.
Yeah. Yeah, these are all things I think are really weak in that show compared to other television in general, but even in other Star Trek shows.
Yeah, I don't know.
No.
People who say they like Deep Space Nine the best, and then they say reasons, and I'm just like...
I feel like they watched it when they watched it when it was on, and they were like 13. And for a 13-year-old, I think it's totally legit, all these things that people say are great about it. Like,
Yeah.
it's the first time you're going to see political intrigue that you're interested in it at all in a show. You know, the religious stuff could be kind of interesting.
Getting you to think about religion in a way that maybe you haven't thought about religion before.
Yeah, the heavy-handed sort of anti-Semitism metaphors ad nauseum and stuff like that. It seems kind of like deep when you're 13, but now, as an adult, it's just like this is some shitty TV. One thing that I was kind of bothered by in Enterprise, and it seems like it's kind of nearing the end of season 4, they're switching it around, was the way that they're portraying Vulcans as sort of like space elves. Like they're Tolkien elves, but in space. And it was like, these are not Vulcans. This is weird. But now they've sort of had this storyline in season 4 where it's like they're not the same Spock Vulcans. They are, because they just have rediscovered this artifact, and that's what's going to
change everything
so that it's like the culture that we know from the Spock years.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay.
Wait, did you say the Spock ears?
The Spock years.
Da-da.
So I was like, okay, Now they're retconning their own show.
They're like, oh, damn, we've been doing these space elves. How are we going to make an excuse for that?
Now, how are we going to save this? To make it actually a prequel that actually can lead into what already exists.
But they were doing that sort of where they were having mind melds being like this bad thing that you do.
Well, then they had to, obviously they had to have a thing where it was like, okay, this is why, in the original series, Spock is just doing mind melds like it's no thing.
Yeah.
When apparently it's been this cultural taboo. Yeah, so I guess they had that plan, but I'm just like, oh, good, they're not just going to be space elves.
Right.
But then it ends soon, so we don't get to see where they would have gone with it.
Right. Yeah, I thought it was interesting them sort of showing the sort of strife that the Vulcans are having, because I feel like Vulcans, even in Enterprise, but in all other stuff, have always been these, like, they're above everything.
Yeah.
It's nice to see them, fucking up.
But at any rate, getting back to the library, just to wrap up.
Support your local libraries, kids.
Should I order? Because I don't really care at this point. But
should I season 3?
Season 3 of Orphan Black?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because kind of at the end of season 2, I was like, I can live without knowing how the story ends. Because the mystery's kind of solved in a way. It's like...
We know where the clones came from.
We generally know where the clones came from. And, now it's just like those X-Files episodes where it's like the conspiracy just keeps getting...
More convoluted.
More convoluted to keep it going, but
right.
Not because there's any reason to. So, but yeah, okay. We'll keep going with it.
Well, I like getting stuff from the library, and it's filmed in Toronto, so it's nice to look at Toronto stuff.
That's true, even if they're not like kind of saying it's Toronto anymore. But that's kind of, yeah, I like that. It was definitely the most Toronto-looking show filmed in Toronto that I've ever seen, other than maybe Degrassi or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like...
Well, no, but even Degrassi, they don't get out and about very much.
No.
And that show's out and about a lot, so you get to see...
There's no attempt to make it look like a generic North American city. Like, they really captures the Toronto-ness, and that's like... So that's something for viewers, if you want to visit Toronto.
Orphan Black,
especially season 1.
Yeah.
Because they're more out in the country in season 2. But
yeah.
Season 1 is just sort of like, wow, this is the first time I've seen Toronto look like Toronto.
Out in the country parts look a lot like the area that my parents grew up in.
That's true. There was that one hill where it's like, isn't there that hill by...
So much so, and then there's been some other scenes since, like where the like farm was, where the cult people were. Mm-hmm. Like, it seems very much like it's near there, but all of Ontario looks like that.
All of southern Ontario was like
around here. It's
almost creepy the way everything looks the same for miles and miles and miles.
Yeah, sort of light rolling hills and farms and split rail fences.
So we'll keep watching that.
Yeah.
We're going to watch the final end of Gilmore Girls. We'll report back on that. That'll probably be an episode.
Probably.
And maybe we'll get out to Fantastic Beasts and Rogue One somehow.
No, we won't.
We probably won't. It's kind of funny, though. So, like, the entire 9 months that you were pregnant, there was no movies I wanted to see at all. And these are, the only 2 movies I'm kind of interested in seeing.
Well, we went to see Star Trek.
Yeah, but I could have lived without not seeing that Star Trek completely. I think, almost didn't go. And you were like, I'm going anyways with Kathy. And I was like, well, okay, yeah, I'm being an asshole. Of course I'm going to go.
We should have gone. It was so hot in the summer while I was pregnant. We should have gone to movies all the time.
It's inexpensive. We have air conditioning in here now.
I know. This is making me realize why people watch bootleg movies.
Yeah.
Bootleg.
Nerd hurdles. Here's a further appeal for you. I need supporters for this website. This simplysyndicated.com thing, this podcast network you've been listening to. We don't have ads, you see, but it takes money to run this and keep me willing to do it. So I need you to go to simplysyndicated.com/everything and sign up to support us with just £6 a month, which is incredible. We appreciate it so much. It's awesome, you guys that already do it, and we, need every little bit we can get to help us out. So if you go there, simplysyndicated.com/everything, it's £6 a month to support us, and you get simply everything in return, which is our entire back catalogue of sort of 11 years worth of shows and exclusive content. Alternatively, we've got a Patreon, which is patreon.com/simplysyndicated. That's a $3 a month support donation, and I've been posting some exclusive content on there as well. So that's might be more up your alley. Or failing that, we actually just have a PayPal button where you can give us a little tip, throw us something in the jar, so to speak. And you'll find the link to that at the bottom of simplysyndicated.com, syndicated.com, syndicated.com, syndicated.com,